This is a Loom video explaining how we use Claris as part of our program and file note process. So for us, we use some dictation software. There's a few different types. We use Otter AI that can either record the whole phone conversation or do a dictation from the advisor after the meeting, which is what we generally do, and or record the phone calls. So in this case, this is a dictation, obviously a pretend one that I put together for a prospect phone call, what was discussed, what's the client situation, etc. And that took me a couple of minutes to record that after the meeting. But we also do record phone calls with the client's permission that will get all the same data. So what we do with this raw text data is that we copy this out of the software. We then go into Claris and we click New File Note. We then go and select a client, which in this case I've already set Mary Smith up. And then we select a template as to which type of file note it's meant to be. Is it for a new client? Is it a fact find meeting? Do we present an SOA? Is it a client review? Because each of them have different standard wordings and output we want for XPlan. So in this case, it's a prospect phone call. And we just paste that raw text in there. The software is usually pretty good, depending on the quality of dictation software, that it should pick up and fix stuff. You can see down here, it's removed the personal data, the PII, and it's sending that off to convert that into a compliant file note. Over here, you can see that's loading, and it doesn't usually take too long. But what we usually do as a system or as a business, we do this once a day. One of our offshore team, in fact, or it could be an admin person, or it could be an advisor, depending on how your business is set up. It just goes through and does all of the file notes from the day before or at the end of the day, depending on what workflow looks like. So we would usually do this as a batch. So you can go in and set up a new one, add a new one while the other one's being prepared, because it might take a minute or so to prepare that. And then we just go through, and by the time you've added the last one, the first one's finished. As you can see, it's now finished. And so if the raw notes are still there, and it moves this across into a file note. So what it's done is it's out of that kind of raw text that I've dictated, or again, if it's a recorded phone call, pulled out the client's names, the date of the phone call, how long it was for, whether it was an inbound or outbound, a bit of an overview of the client situation. I kind of mentioned what their income was, what their house is worth, what the debt was, what their super funds were, the client's goals and objectives. Are they doing any current strategies? In this case, they're not doing concessionals, but we talked about considering those. Our contributions, explain the process, the fees, etc., and the next steps for the client and for ourselves. So if there's something in here that's misinterpreted, so on my dictation, I probably didn't clearly say AMP, so it's picked up A and P, so you can just easily edit it like that. Or if it's John without a H, you can just easily fix that up here in your raw notes or in that file note. If you're happy with that, we then click copy to clipboard. We do a HTML version if you're putting it into XPlan. Then jump over to XPlan, click add a new file note, depending obviously what your standards are and templates are. And then we copy and paste that in. And because it's HTML, basically it will paste that in a nice compliant file note ready to go. So it's got the details, etc. So from the phone call to get into an XPlan, you can see there that was a couple minute process, and we click save, and that's done.